On the way, he sent a servant to the fort to ask the soldiers there for help. At the same time, Zorro was speaking to Lolita.
I had to come back to see you.
Please never come again.
Don Carlos arrived back. He did not want Zorro to leave before the soldiers arrived, so he asked him about his adventures. Zorro ate, drank, and talked. Lolita listened interestedly. After some time, Don Carlos got up interestedly.
I'll tell the servants
After some
to pack some
time,
food.
Don Carlos got up,
he said.
interestedly.
I'll tell the
While he
servants
was out of the
to
room,
pack some food.
Lolita hurriedly told Zorro.
My father has sent
he was
word
out
to the
of
fort.
some
I'm sure.
Lolita
And the soldiers are
hurriedly
coming.
told Zorro.
Quickly go. My
tell
father
the
has
While
sent
he
word
was
to the
out
fort.
of Don
I'm sure.
Carlos,
And the
Lolita
soldiers are
hurriedly
coming.
told Zorro.
Here's your food for the road.
He said.
But before you go, one last story, please. No, senor,
Cried Zorro.
the soldiers from the fort will surely be here any minute.
He pushed over the candles on the table, and at once the room went dark.
Until later.
Said Zorro softly in Lolita's ear. Then he ran to the back door and called his horse. Lolita heard the sound of his horse galloping away.
He's escaped.
She thought. Soon after that, Sergeant Gonzalez and his soldiers rode up to the front door. They left at once, hurrying after Zorro. Not long after, Captain Ramon arrived. When he saw Lolita, he decided to wait in the house for the soldiers to come back.
That Zorro is a coward,
The captain said to Don Carlos while he sat with the family. Suddenly, the door of the tall closet in the room opened, and Zorro came out of it, his sword in his hand.
Take back those words,
He cried.
or fight. What? But we heard you escape.
Cried Don Carlos.
My horse knows when to gallop away without me,
Laughed Zorro.
and when to come back quietly for me too.
You won't escape me.
Cried Captain Ramon. The two men fought, but Zorro soon put his sword through his enemy's shoulder. Captain Ramon fell to the floor, and Zorro put his sword away.
Don't worry, he'll live.
He laughed, and with one last look at Lolita, he left the house, jumped on his horse, which was waiting, and galloped away. Soon after this, Don Diego arrived back at the Pulido family's house. He walked in worriedly.
I heard that Zorro was here,
He explained to Don Carlos.
so I came to see that you were all alive. But now I understand that my journey wasn't necessary.
Don Diego was not happy to find Captain Ramon there, nor that Lolita was washing his hurt shoulder. After she finished this job, she went and sat by the fire, and Don Diego went to sit and talk with her there. Across the room, Captain Ramon quietly told Don Carlos,
I'd like to marry your daughter, senor. Does she have any suitors?
Chapter 3. 3 suitors. Don Carlos did not want to offend either Ramon or Don Diego.
Senor,
He answered the soldier quietly.
only this morning I gave Don Diego my permission to court Lolita. But if she doesn't agree to marry him...
Then I can try,
Smiled the captain. While Lolita sat with Don Diego, she watched Ramon. She knew that he liked her, but she did not like him. Just then, Gonzales and his men arrived.
We followed Zorro into the hills.
The sergeant explained.
10 other outlaw friends of his came and fought us there, and in the end, they all escaped.
But the captain fought Senor Zorro here while you were away.
Said Don Diego.
Yes, Sergeant. You were just following Zorro's clever horse, which left here without a rider.
Went on Ramon.
I met the criminal himself when he came out of that closet over there and fought against me.
No!
Cried Gonzales.
Then we must catch and kill the outlaw. Captain, do I have your permission to take some soldiers and go after him?
The captain agreed, but Don Diego asked to go too.
It'll be hard work,
Said the sergeant.
Then perhaps it's better for me to stay in town.
Said Don Diego.
But I'm worried for the Pulidos. So please give me news of where you ride and of Zorro.
Soon after this, Ramon and Gonzales left with their men for the fort. Lolita took Don Diego to the door.
Well, will you marry me?
He asked.
I'm still thinking about it.
Good night then, señorita. I'll visit again soon. Will it offend you if I don't kiss your hand? I'm so tired. Excuse me.
Father,
Cried Lolita when the family was alone.
I can't marry Don Diego. There's no life in him.
Captain Ramon has also asked to court you.
Said her mother.
He's nearly as bad. I don't like the look in his eyes.
You're difficult to please, Lolita.
Said her father.
Don Diego's rich and from a good family. I think that he was jealous when he found Captain Ramon here. Make him more jealous, and please try to like him.
Yes, Father,
Cried Lolita.
but I don't want to marry him. Yet.
And with that, she ran to her room. In bed, she remembered Zorro kissing her hand.
What a man! But why is he an outlaw?
She said to herself. The next morning, Don Diego left his house to find his friend Sergeant Gonzales and 20 more soldiers in the town square.
You're up early?
The sergeant said.
Yes, I'm leaving for my house in the country.
Answered Don Diego.
But where's Zorro these days?
Nowhere near your country house.
Laughed his friend.
We've heard that he's in Pala. We're going after him there.
Well, good luck.
Soon after that, Gonzales and his men rode away. Just before Don Diego left, he wrote a letter and sent his servant Bernardo with it to the Pulido's house.
Don Carlos, the soldiers have gone after Senor Zorro in Pala. I'm worried for you and your family. I must travel to my country house, but I'd like to invite you, your wife and daughter to stay in my townhouse while I'm away. You'll be safe there. Don Diego.
When the letter arrived, Don Carlos read it to his family.
What a wonderful plan.
Said Doña Catalina.
What do you say, Lolita?
Well, I'd like to visit the town, but is it right? Won't people talk about Don Diego and me?
My child, don't worry about that. He won't be there, and we can come home when he arrives back.
So that afternoon, the Pulido family traveled into town. Don Diego's house was full of beautiful, expensive things.
This will all belong to Lolita if she decides to marry him,
thought Doña Catalina. That evening, Don Carlos took his wife out to visit some friends. Lolita stayed behind, reading a book of love poetry that was on Don Diego's table. Strangely, all the books in the house were about love, dangerous adventures, horse riding, and sword fighting.
Perhaps I've made a mistake about him,
she said to herself. Just then, Captain Ramon knocked at the front door.
I've heard that the Pulido family is staying here,
he told the servant who opened it.
Don Carlos and his wife are out at the moment,
replied the servant.
Please call tomorrow.
But Ramon pushed past him and walked into the room where Lolita sat reading.
Senor,
she cried, standing.
Why are you here?
Last night, your father gave me permission to court you. I know that Don Diego wants to marry you too, but surely you can't prefer him to me.
Captain, you must leave. I'm alone.
Good!
laughed Ramon.
Then nobody can stop me kissing you.
He caught her and pulled her quickly to him. Angrily, she slapped his face.
Stop there, senor,
cried a deep voice behind them. Ramon turned, and Lolita gave a happy cry when she saw Zorro at the door.
On your knees, man,
said Zorro angrily,
and say sorry to the señorita.
With a bad shoulder and no sword to fight with, what could Ramon do? He went on his knees and said sorry, and then Zorro kicked him out of the house.
Thank you, senor,
cried Lolita. Then she suddenly went over to the outlaw and kissed him on the mouth.
I love you. Leave your criminal life and marry me.
Señorita,
Zorro answered,
I cannot. I love you, but I must go now. Good night.
And saying that, he climbed out of the window into the dark night. Chapter 4. The Letter. Captain Ramon hurried angrily up the hill to the fort.
Zorro never stays in one place long,
He thought.
so even if I send my men to Don Diego's house, the outlaw won't be there. I need another plan.
Once in his office, he sat down and wrote to the governor.
Excellency, we haven't caught the outlaw Zorro yet, but we've learned that some people are helping him. Last night, I found him having dinner at the country house of Don Carlos Pulido. I fought the criminal, but he escaped. Don Carlos didn't help me, and his daughter, Señorita Lolita, laughed at me for trying to catch Zorro. I'm waiting to know what to do next. Also, I think that one of the richest families here is perhaps working against you, Excellency. I can't say more in a letter which I'm sending by messenger. Your obedient servant, Ramon, captain of the fort in Reina de Los Angeles.
He made a copy of the letter. Then he told one of his men to ride with it to the governor's house in San Francisco de Asís. After this, he sat in his office, reading his copy and smiling.
Soon,
He thought,
the governor will move against the Pulidos. Perhaps even the Vega family will be in trouble. Lolita won't say no when I ask her to marry me again.
he thought that the curse of Capistrano was far away by then, but he was wrong. Just after he left Don Diego's house, Zorro got on his horse, which was waiting obediently for him, and rode slowly to the fort. He heard a horse galloping away down the highway.
Perhaps Ramon's ordering Gonzales to come back,
He thought. He knew that most of the soldiers were away in Pala. Quietly, he left his horse by a tree and walked around the fort to Ramon's office window. Inside, he saw the captain at his desk, reading a letter, and he heard the man